Came on duty at 11 a.m. Thinking it's not going to be a very busy day at all. Most people will be inside watching the game. I began patrolling the motels. We've had some crime through those. We found stolen cars, people with warrants.
If you want to go, you can go. Do you want to go? Want to go on the floor?
As I'm driving through those areas, I notice a male staring at me. Most people don't sit and stare at us like that unless they've committed a crime, about to commit a crime, or possibly have warrants for their arrest. So I decide at that point it's time to get out and talk with him. As I exited my cruiser to make contact with him, I activated my body camera.
This is totally fine. And I'm not breaking the law. I stay at Motel 6. And now I'm walking.
It's February, it's 40 degrees outside, he's wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants, so he's not dressed for the weather, and at that point I felt it was time to go ahead and identify him.
Okay, do you have your ID with you so I can say who I talked with? Do you have an Ohio ID?
As I began speaking with him, he's immediately standoffish. It was very clear he didn't want to talk with me. He did not want to provide any of the information that I was asking for.
You have to ID who we're talking to, okay? It's for your protection just as much as ours, because if there was an officer that did something illegal, that gives you the legal recourse to go back on that officer. And I can say, no, I spoke with Joe today. Joe spoke with me. This is what we spoke about, and that was it. And then we're both covered. You see what I'm saying? What is the name? I haven't seen you in a while, Lynn.
As soon as he provided his name, I immediately remembered him from an incident where he was arrested in a stolen car back in 2015. He had actually tried to kick out the back windows of a cruiser.
Last time I saw you here, that's bigger dude, actually.
Mr. Porter has a violent past. He has some mental issues, as well as he's an abuser of methamphetamines.
All right. Well, like I said, that's the reason I'm up here, is because you were kind of hanging around there. It didn't look like you were staying there. You don't have a coat on. It's a little cold out here. So that's the reason. Okay? All right?
Well, after obtaining his information, there was no other crimes being committed. He wasn't a wanted individual. So at that point, I went back on patrol.
At 2:19 p.m., Inglewood Emergency Response gets a call from one of the motels.
This is Assistant Manager Dorian at Motel 6 in Inglewood. Can I have an officer out?
The caller reports extensive damage to one of the rooms.
And the housekeeper stated earlier the guest was walking back and forth and looking kind of awkward. They were due to check out today, and they're gone, but you need to make a report on this.
Officer Corcoran responds.
I responded to the hotel and found out that Shelley Porter had been assigned to the room.
A discarded ID card belonging to Shelley Porter is found in the room. It confirms that this was the same man Officer Corcoran had spoken to earlier that day.
There were 2 bullet holes in the window and a little bit of blood on the bed.
Both rounds struck the building on the opposite side of the parking lot. Luckily, no one was harmed.